a general was sent down here from General Keyes from New Mexico, and he was going to check our unit. Well, I got out and I had my saber up. You know, the officers carried sabers, and when they saluted this way, and the men had Springfield rifles. And as we went by the, we had a parade, and we went by the general and all the brass, and we had a sergeant that was over the military and a major. And so then they had the squad drill competition and picked out the winning squad, and then they picked out the winning platoon, and mine was, they were good. I don't know where I got them. I don't know why I got them, but they were good. I don't think I taught them anything. I think they, I was blessed to have them anyway. We would practice and practice and practice. Nobody practiced like we did, but we were the best. And the day this General Keyes, he might have been a Colonel Keyes, a bird colonel when he came, but he became a general later on. And I think he was from New Mexico. So I took my platoon out, and they were head and shoulders above any platoon, no question. So they got on the speaker, and somebody says, Lieutenant Webb, bring your, no, Lieutenant Webb front and center. And I left my platoon there. I put them at ease. I put them at rest. And I went forward, and I saluted the general, or the colonel. And he said to me, he said, Cadet Webb, that is the best platoon drill I have ever seen in my life. Army or anything. He said, what I want to do is take your platoon down to the regular Army units, and I want you to drill for the regular Army units to show them how to drill. They don't compare with your platoon. So then my dad said, well, Keith, you know, you're going to get married one of these days. Do you want to go into the Army and make $30 a month as a private? I said, no, Dad, I'd like to make a little money. He says, you can go into the Army as a lieutenant, and you'll make $180 a month to start with, Keith. The third year, why, they had competition for the 8th Corps area, which is 8 states. And there's 3,000 cadets in 8 states. So lo and behold, old inferiority Keith Webb, that had no confidence to speak of, wasn't afraid of anything, but still didn't have the confidence that I could do it that well. I was picked out of the 3,000, so my folks came down. I had an appointment for West Point. I had one for the New Mexico Military Institute. Had all kind of letters and all kind of stuff, and didn't want any of it. My folks came down, and I went through all that, and so then I did a 10 series, and I got my commission. I qualified for it. I couldn't get it till I was 21. You had to be 21 to get commission. There was the paper Gazette, Phoenix Gazette, gave me half a page. And they showed a colonel, and because I was supposed to go meet the president and shake hands with him and stay in Washington, the war interfered, so they did the thing here. They had a parade for me, and they had me down. I worked for the bank then, and I was 19 then, and they had us speak over KOY radio. And there was a general there, and then there was a colonel there that gave me the medal, and it was a gold medal, Pershing, General Pershing medal. It was solid gold, and to me it didn't mean anything, you know. Why, I don't know. I can't tell you why. It didn't mean anything for me to have this. It was an honor, but it didn't mean anything because I didn't think I deserved it. I saw better people down there than I was. I had guys 29 years old that had a lot of military, and I knew they were better than I was. But we went to church in a grammar school on Central Avenue. And when I was at the grammar school, I saw her from a distance. I saw Karen from a distance, and I couldn't see her face exactly, But something said to me, that's the girl you're going to marry, or you should marry. I don't know which it was, but it came from someplace. You've had him come. You've given a prayer sometime, and the Holy Ghost takes over, or it was just. And I really thought about it, and I thought, well, that can't be. I don't even know that girl. Well, we went caroling, and we were around in Canto going around and singing, and I was going a little too fast, and a cop got me, and I got out, and I talked him out of it, no ticket, and we got back. And so during the evening, I had a chance to talk to Karen, and Karen and Marge Price were cousins. Karen's dad and Marge's mother were brother and sister. And so I said to Karen, I said, we ought to go to the movies sometime. And she said, okay. We didn't name a date. We didn't say anything. And so I held hands with her, and we went, and I took her up the door and didn't try to hug her or kiss her or anything. And that started us going together. So I had another date the next week, and I had my car, and then I kissed her that night. And that was my downfall. The chemistry was just right. Chemistry was perfect, I think I told about Karen going back to school, and she went to school in Logan, Utah. And so when she got back, and we started going together again, because I didn't know really whether she'd want to go with me again, but she did. And I often wondered if maybe her dad sent her away to school to get her away from me, but I don't know. You wonder about a lot of things, especially when you get to be about 90 years old. But anyway, when she came back, why, we went together again, and a lot of things happened afterwards. There were parties. She belonged to a group of girls they called the gang, and they had gang parties all the time, and we had a lot of fun. And finally, one night she said, when we were on our way home from a party, she said, we always called each other honey for some reason, even though we were pretty young and weren't married yet. We both called each other honey. She says, honey, are you ever going to marry me? And I said, sure, I want to marry you. I love you. And she said, well, when? And I said, well, I don't know, when I get my bills paid. I'm helping my folks, because my dad's been out of work, and when I get some of my bills paid, I want to marry you, yes. She says, well, if you're not going to marry me before long, she said, I'm going to try to find somebody else. Well, I think the next day after that, I went down and I bought a ring. It wasn't a real big engagement ring. It was a 3rd carat, but rings were expensive then. I went down to Rosenzweig's. And most of you have heard of Harry Rosenzweig. He was quite a politician too in Arizona, real nice guy. And I bought this ring, and it was about $300. Well, I think I was making at that time about $90 a month. That's a month, and that's not a lot of money. And so he let me have it without a down payment, and I had to pay $5 a week. We got paid every week back in those days, and so I gave him $5 a week. Went over there, walked over, and plunked down the $5 every week until I got it paid for. But anyway, we were engaged, and then so the newspapers got a hold of it, and Karen was in the papers with all of her girlfriends, because it's getting close to the time when the war is over in Europe. Okay, so they decide that my colonel and I, he's still a colonel, he makes general later on, becomes a major general. Ed Pennant was his name.